I never realized what I had stuff in my throat. Wow. Okay. Um. Okay. So I was just going to go straight into Giraffe Town, but in case I'm a genius right now, I just thought of one final like hurrah with the Foxy grid. Because I actually want to talk about that a bit because I've been thinking about that a lot. Um. So one of the clues I've been wondering about, if it's even a clue, is there's this page right around the Cassidy word puzzle. God, what's my throat? I was so gravelly. Where it says, "What can you see?" and it's below a mirror. So I'm wondering, hey, it's 4 p.m. for me. It's not. This isn't even a late night stream for me. But I'm wondering with the mirror, because I saw one of the attempts at cracking the logbook used a flipped version of Happiest Day, and that got me thinking about flipping things and like inverting them. So, I want to try. What? Hold on, let me pull up the numbers we came up with for Happiest Days related stuff. So the idea is each minigame of the 6 gives you a number. That was an idea I toyed with. So it was now 7 in BB's Air Ride, and then 4 parts of Mangle, 4 children to give cupcakes to / 4 cupcakes in Chica's world, and then 3 kids, and then 5 levels to switch through for RWQ, and then 16 total balloons. We tried inputting this a few times. That didn't get us anything. Another thing I tried was tinkering with the numbers a bit. That really didn't get me anything. Well, I'll kind of go through that on stream because I never did that on stream. If we try this combination, let me do that so I can show why this version didn't show that this version didn't work. Maybe redo it if I did it wrong. First letter O, and then 10 4, another O. I think this one was I think I'm trying to remember what this one got me because it was useless, but it was a thing. But like, I mean, they all kind of are. The 9 3. I think this got me Juno Co. And then 5 C, and 5 16. Okay, yeah, that didn't get me anything. So yeah, that's I've tried putting that in. That's just like Juno is the only thing I could get out of it by tinkering with the numbers in various ways. I think the same thing happened when you flipped the numbers. So if we did 7 5, for example, and then we did 4 10, and then we did 4 5, and then we did 3 9, and then we did 5 5. That's always going to be the same. And then 16. Yeah, there's not even enough vowels for this to be a name. Oh, there might be. I found a website that's great for this, actually. Let me pull that up. Because that was a great this website actually pretty good at deciphering names. A lot of websites are good at deciphering words, but not names. BCENYS. Anything out of that? Yens. It's not. It has to use all letters, which is always the tricky part. That didn't get anything. Let's try. There's technically 8 balloons in BB's Air Ride, so let's try 8. I don't think that change. What? Remember, wait, what was it? Was O, right? So we're oh, so yeah, let's try what is 5, 8, 10, 4. This is gonna be a long stream, probably, by the way. I will warn. Are we 100% sure that starting from the top left, the letters don't mirror out? 1 equals A, 2 equals B. Up and down the top, from the what? I don't get what that means. Like, I don't know what you're suggesting. $? Who knows? And then 9, 3, and then 5, 5, C, 5, 16. And the reason I picked balloons. Oh, that's 6, 16. In happiest days, because that's one of the variables that's the same every time. C H U O T. Nothing. Well, there's stuff, but it's the website will give you shorter names that can be made with these letters. Like 1 is still A, but both 2's up B. I don't get what you're saying though. Like, what does that visually look like? I don't. Like A, like 1 is still A, but both 2's up and right are B and. What? I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I just don't get what you're. I don't understand what you're saying. That isn't dismissive. Like, what? It's like I'm confused. Small brain not working. Another thing to try is for Chica's Air Ride, or not Chica's Air Ride, Chica's Party, have it be 8 for the total number of kids. I'm trying to remember, what did this one get me? 8, 10, 4, 5. I guess that would be another H. 9, 3, 5, 5, 5, 16. QOHHCD. You can misspell Cody really well with this. You have 2 H's in there. trying to remember, is there any other... Oh, and the other thing I wanted to try with this was, actually, let me invert this to be safe, because sometimes, who knows, maybe if you invert it, it will, because maybe, like, I'm just doing it wrong, where it's like 8, 5, and if I run out of ideas, I'm gonna go play Giraffe Town. But 2 Fs, that's something, alright. 3, 9. See, I doubt it. There's not even, there's one vowel in that. That's not gonna. Well, let's run it anyway. And yeah, it's nothing. What was 9, 9? What would that be? E. Okay, that actually adds another vowel. The one we had was 9. No, that doesn't add another vowel, actually. The only other thing I could think of was the 5 kids, but that's just another C, so that... Oh, actually I went to Giraffe Town. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay. Now I kind of get what you're suggesting. It was just I was not. Okay, where's the grid? Okay, here's the grid. I feel like they would have shown that though visually because it's just ABC. Let me try to split capture because you never know what window it's going to bring up. Okay. Trying to think of how visually that would work if you even need to fill it all out. That one might be better for like a just like take away the letters and just like save it like that and then just mentally puzzle out. What's weird about that code is it kind of makes me question why the grid would be so huge. Because it only needs to be a 26 by 26. And also, one number will always dictate, the lesser number will always just dictate whatever it is. So, like, let's say we're at 26, right? And our code was 526. Well, it's always going to be 5, or it's actually, no, would it always be the bigger number, I think, actually? Let's say it's 626, like 620. It's always going to be in the 20 column, even if it's down 6, and 20 is always going to be We're not going to do... I'm not going to talk about MapPad. I've talked about that in streams prior. That's not Toxic Freddy, that's Chat Bear. So it makes inserting the number kind of weird, because it will just be whatever the bigger number is. At which point, it kind of just becomes a simple substitution cipher. Yeah, and also it doesn't go all the way down. And also, it's not... If this was like... If the grid was filled out like this in the logbook around the start, that would imply that. But it's just the first 3 letters, which is weird. So we're gonna run with the normal Foxy grid for now, but that is an interesting idea to note for another day. The other thing I can think of with the thing is, because the code can be either a 6-digit code or a 5-digit one, because this could be 14. And if none of these ideas get anything, I did find 2 solutions in quotes. 10, 14, okay. I tried this one, right? Yeah, this got me, okay. Let's try... let's try 14. And then we just nix this final number. God, the spacing on this is... There, that'll have to work. It's gross, but... So, 5, 8, 10, 4, 14, what would 14-4 be? S? We'll try swapping that out if this doesn't get anything. So then 5, 9. Let's try this one. Huh. Okay. Let's try... Yeah, no, that's not a name, but that spells chaos. If instead of... hold on, let me... If we don't do... If we do 4 for this one instead... And then we go... So we do 5, 8... 5, 8, H, 10, 4... Then 14, 4... S, and then 5, 9... A. That spells chaos. Which is not useful for solving a kid's name. But it is funky that we got that. Uh, spiraling. Uh, there's a lot of interesting ways to fill out the Foxy grid. Um, I am curious. Uh, Chaos Afton. Uh, yeah, fear could be a legit answer, but chaos is really weird. This isn't fucking Deltarune Chapter 1. It's cool we got that, though. Let's try switching them, because who knows? 8, 5, 4, 10, 4, 14. What's 8, 14? Because that's all you. That might be it. Every vowel you get is a good option. Let's try 9, 5, G, and then 5, 5, C. What is Q? What was that? C, G. That's no vowels. What if we Gus? No, that's not gonna be it. I mean, not that Gus can't be the name, but there's missing letters. That's always a thing. What else could I'm trying to think of like variations of like what could be the numbers to make sure we're like I'm trying everything. But anyway, this is like I wanted to try that way in the normal Foxy grid because I prefer personally if the normal Foxy grid was solved. But there is an idea I tried that got some interesting results, but I'm not sure if they're the intended ones. Just some comments that might help out. Foxy Discord around it. Help. Well, thanks for the $5, Crash Master. I'm interested in what you have to see, but let me. I think this is a fine thing to open. Looks like. You know, it can be the one with Foxy. Who cares? Is this the fixed version that has the letter D? Yeah, okay, it does. So let's. This is one of the ideas I had. Flip horizontal. And I'll show you the funky answer I managed to. There's two answers I managed to get with it flipped that are kind of interesting. So, and I'll redo this in real time. So, I put this in the Discord, so Discord members probably already know what I'm going to show off here. So if we do 5, 7, once again 7 for BB's air ride, 5 for the tally marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Y. And then 10, 4. 10 for the tally marks. 4 for the amount of mangle parts. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5, 4. So 5, then we'll go 4 down. For T, 9, 3, below 3, 5, 5 for M, and then 5, 16. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This gets Monty W. Weirdly enough. That's not a great answer. I tried 1, 5, 7, 8. The baby says random numbers throughout this location. Like, it's like you can barely even hear it. It's like hidden in the audio. But you can actually see it best in 8-Bit Baby's FNaF AR jumps, her Haywire animation. She has the numbers 1, 8, 7, 5. They're the same ones Baby mutters. But yeah, Monty W was interesting. And W is funky because I wondered if this is not just a lucky coincidence or not. Because, like, think about it. Like, I mean, we got the word chaos out of it, and I doubt that's intentional. You can get all kinds of answers if you try so many ideas. This could just be a funny coincidence. The W makes me suspect that. At the same time, so this is a little bit about me. This has been mentioned once or twice on the stream. My actual name is James. And my dad has the same name, but he has a different middle name. So if W stood for William and the bite victim goes by Monty, then that would be his differentiator from his dad, who has the same first name. That's not that uncommon of a thing, so I'm wondering if this is just the weirdest fucking way to explain his first name is William, but everyone calls him Monty, or if that's a reach or not. That was just one idea I saw, because I'm like, that it works. It's mirrored, like every step of the clue here makes sense. It's the tally marks plus happiest day, and then it's the mirrored fox, and then you mirror the Foxy grid because of what can you see being below a mirror. It's every step of the way is there, technically. And if this was true, it would confirm a lot about the bite victim potentially, because it's like, oh, it's linking him to happiest day. And also it's like, it's confirming he's the son of William because of the W and all that. It's too much of a reach, though, for me to be like, this is the answer, which is what pisses me off, right? It's so close to being a real answer. Oh, I'd argue we don't need a name for the bite victim, but and I would be fine with him having no name if there wasn't this goddamn grid with the letters A, B, C in the corner, and then a bunch of numbers that do nothing. There is a real answer I got, though, which is Jackham. And that might not sound like a name, but apparently it is. I did look into this. Let me show. It's very similar to this one. It has the happiest day numbers as the first number, so and it's 8 for BB's Air Ride because there's technically 8 total balloons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. J. And then actually 8 again for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, okay, that's right. 8 for I just realized this one doesn't make any sense because that's not. Never mind. Throw it out. Actually, if we did 4, 10, what does that get us? 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. X, that's not going to get anything. Why did I have 8 next? I think I was confusing Chica's thing with... Yeah, I was confusing Chica's thing. Never mind, that's dumb. Ignore Jackham. Jackham was interesting because the name means lifted by God, and the bite victim's death is being lifted. And it's a biblical name, so there is a chance Scott would know about it. Yeah, no Jackham. This was actually the better one, but I realized I swapped two of the minigames. Yeah, they do all kind of have generic British names, so that is a thing to consider. Yeah, Rip Jackham. The last ideas I want to try are having Happiest Day in reverse order. So 16, 5, and then let's say 9 for the total number of stages. We'll try 3 if that doesn't work. And then 4 for the kids, and then 4 for the mangle parts, and then let's say 8 for the total number of balloons, and we'll mess with this. This is the only other thing I think of for the mirrored thing. It'd be weird if it was double mirrored, so I feel like this has to be kind of like one or the other situations. So let's try it. Let's run it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, N. I guess I'm doing bottom first with this one. I didn't even realize that was T, and then 9, 5. And then 4. That's not a good sign. 4, 5. That's an even worse sign. And then 8, 5. No vowels. Other way around. 5, 16. 5, 10, 5. 4, 5. Then 9, and then 5, 9. Hey, a vowel. Not even guaranteed. Then 9, 4. And then 5, 4. And then 5, 8. Let's put this one in the scrambler, because it's technically J, N, H. You can get Dan spelled funky. Let's try 5 instead. That would be C. Nope. I do want to try with the inverted idea a very different approach to the inverted concept, which would be 5 for starting with RW Hughes minigame, and then 9 for stage 0, 1, and then doing this in reverse, and then 4 for Chica, and then 4 for Mangle, and then 8, 4. And then 8, 4, B. Let's try that. That's my last idea. C 10-9 F 14 4 and then 5-14 or 5-4 J, no vowel. I think. No vowel. Okay, let's try C once again. 9, 10. And then 4, 10. Or then 4, 14. Yuck. Absolutely not. No. Yeah. Nothing, that one. Okay. RWQ, I feel like has to be that. What does 10-3 do? 10-3, and then let's try Chica for 8. Oop. 3, 8. So C, once again, C is always going to be the same. 10-3. That's unique. We didn't get a V that often in these. 14. There are not many names with Q's, so that's never a good sign. Nothing. Try swapping them. C. That's a good sign. We haven't made a possible name yet. Let's see what we get out of this one. B C F R U. Nothing for that one, really. Like, the name generator didn't even give me anything on that one. Okay. It was worth some ideas. Let's play some goddamn Giraffe Town. Anyway, Giraffe Town. I don't know where... I accidentally clicked continue, so let's see where the game launches me. Yeah, sadly his name is not Kingus. I don't know about the tally marks in Ruin, for the by victim's name. I would not use the encyclopedia for, like, the setup to a name, to, like, a theory. I would say, like, if you're going to use the encyclopedia for a theory, it's got to be something you've already got a main point on. And you're like, on top of the 5 things that point to this, the encyclopedia supports it too. That's how I would use the encyclopedia if I were to use it. I've been trying to be consistent about my approaches to things lately. And you'll often see where I'm like, I'll bring up something because I know it's something people will talk about, and I want to make it something, like, clear I'm aware of it. But then I'll add in, like, if I don't really support the logic behind it, I'll be like, this is a conclusion you can make, but I don't really agree with the methodology of getting there. So the next video is going to be a mini theory about Cake Bear. In FNaF 2. It's not a retcon video, actually. You might call it a ScottCon video, because I talk about how I don't think this was, like, when FNaF 2 came out, the intent. That video actually doesn't even have a script. I did not write any script for it. I had a separate video script that section, that the mini theory was a part of, and it was the best part of. And I realized I was in one of those moods where I could just rant and explain it all without any trouble. And like almost every Squawks video is like a paraphrased version of the script. I almost never follow the script's wording exactly. Which is funky about my videos. So I was like, I can just do this one, especially since it's a shorter one. But there was a section in that video where I was talking about, like, potential clues to support Vengeful Cassidy and that entire concept. And I realized too many of them were things I did not really support the logic behind, or I'm like... So yeah, the original video premise, let me explain, it was supposed to be called Theory Patch Notes. That was supposed to be like updates to previous theories that were not big enough to make videos on. Like, with Michael Motors Remaster, I felt like I had enough new ideas to talk about where I'm like, this could be an entire video. This would be like 1 or 2 details per theory, pretty much, for a few of the major theories. One of the things was, like, talking about Vengeful Cassidy and that concept. And there was only, like, one point I liked. I don't even remember which one it was that was, like, the better one. I think, it was the UCN soundtrack having its, main theme be, like, Isthrophobia. And that meaning mirror, and the only mirror to William, you could argue, would be something like Golden Freddy mirroring Spring Bonnie / Springtrap. Like, especially with, like, Andrew, Vengeful Andrew, or I should say Gameline Andrew, because he's always vengeful. It's just the question of whether or not he's the game Vengeful Spirit or another continuity's Vengeful Spirit. Molten MCI is possible. It's kind of one of those questions of, like, now there are variants of Molten MCI that change exactly how it works. Mike could be a mirror, yeah, I could see that argument. But, like, I guess that interpretation only really works if you're doing something like Rytost's one and done concept of, like, Mike being the Vengeful Spirit. Yeah, it's Molten MCI is very much viable as a theory. Its meta was not destroyed. I love that theories sometimes are discussed like card games or video games, where it's like, is Piranha Plant still viable in the Smash Ultimate meta? Is Molten MCI still viable in the theory meta? And then people will argue it isn't, and then other people will argue like it is or it's definitive. There's a lot of theories that haven't been debunked per se. They just are like getting outpaced. Like, here's the weird thing about Glitch Afton. It's never been debunked, or it's never like there's not been a thing where it's like it can't be the case. At least in my opinion, it's just that the Mimic being Glitch Trap has gotten so much more evidence as time went on. And the only evidence to really Glitch Afton at this point is that he looks like the Spring Bonnie. By the way, I guess this will be the soft announcement of a project I want to do, which is, if Squawksverse is like really well received as a storyline, and maybe if it isn't, maybe I'll just do this anyway, though it'll be a really big project, is I want to do a graphic novel that adapts the FNaF storyline it's set out by the Squawksverse video, whenever that comes out, which could be like half a year from now for all I know. Like, that's one of those I'm always kind of working on it. Is Blue Eyes still able to win worlds? Sire describe casting in one word. Ethereal. But the graphic novel, the difference between the graphic novel and, or like webcomic, whatever you want to call it, And the video is very much like a here is the story dramatically told. And the graphic novel would be like actual character writing and like character interactions, like a normal comic. It wouldn't just be my narration in a book format, you know? It would be like Mike interacting with William and all that. It would be... And this would mainly be for the MCI kids, honestly, this format. Because you can get across a lot of the story in narration except for the character interactions. That's the sole reason I want to do a graphic novel kind of thing. Is because I want to write interactions between these characters in a way that a video like that can struggle to do. There's a few moments I have like very defined in my head. One of them is obviously for Squawks vs. Vengeful Cassidy is going to be the chosen theory. Though there will be some notes borrowed from Andrew's character, honestly. There's this one scene where, this is like around the time of UCN, and it's the scene in my head where Cassidy's interacting with Spring Bonnie, and it's unclear whether or not this is Afton's, like, innocence manifested, if this is literally Spring Bonnie come to life, or this is Cassidy talking to themselves in a weird way. Like, I want it to be something along those lines, and it's Spring Bonnie asking if the suit itself is forgivable for being William's murder tool. Because one of the themes I would want to explore with Squawksverse is the blurring of lines between characters and their original souls. And like that's thematically important for Cassidy and Charlie because they never lose themselves in Squawksverse. They are always themselves throughout the story. But with the MCI kids, the other scene I really have pointed in my head is Jeremy just one day as Bonnie not being able to remember what his face looks like. Very FNaF movie-esque with the MCI kids losing their faces. And then him freaking out as he's like trying to cry out for help and no one can do anything about it. Because he doesn't even remember what he used to look like because it's been so long. That's like one scene very pronounced in my head. I also know like the kind of characterization I would go for with the MCI kids. I'd want Gabriel to be like the older brother who knows what's happening and is trying to help the others understand, and Fritz be impatient and just wanting to get it all over with, not being like vengeful the way like Cassidy would be, of like he has to suffer no matter what. It's like just get it over with. I just want to get out of here. And then Jeremy and Susie kind of being two sides of like the innocence coin, if that makes sense. Of like Jeremy understands what's going on and knows it's not his fault in this. And the kind of I'm kind of compositing novel Susie because she's one of the ones who gets actual characterization in novels. So novel Susie gets a little bit there, and Taking Home Susie, I want to reread Taking Home before I like really commit to writing her. But I specifically like the idea of Susie not really understanding what she's in, whereas Jeremy understands and can't like. He understands, but at the same time, he doesn't understand. It's like he understands he was killed. He understands that a man consciously murdered him. He can't comprehend why someone would do that. And like the emotions I would want to cover with like Jeremy versus Susie is like that tragic incident of like innocence of like what happened, what did the rabbit man do, why did Spring Bonnie hurt us, and wondering like when can we go home, like stuff like that. She doesn't like the idea is in that Susie doesn't really that I'm currently going with is Susie doesn't quite comprehend she's even dead really. She knows she was hurt by William, and she knows the others hate William and Spring Bonnie, and she doesn't she's just too young mentally to understand like that. Whereas Jeremy is like, what the fuck? Why would anyone do this? What's the point? And Gabriel is the one who kind of fully understands the full scope. And is kind, like I said, he's like the older brother of the group of like, Jeremy, it's okay, cool down, and like, and all that. Gabriel's heavily influenced by how Super FNaF portrayed the MCI kids, especially Freddy. I really liked that portray of him. Specifically, the scene I know I have to do in Squawkverse. This scene must fucking happen. Which is, in Super FNaF, they cover the closure of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And there's this scene where it's the last day of it being open, and a kid says goodbye to Freddy, knowing it's the last day he'll ever get to see him in that context. And then Freddy says goodbye back. And then it slowly and then, like, the kid's like, what? As, like, the parent kind of pulls him away, and then it slowly pans to Gabriel I don't remember what he's called in Super FNaF. I don't think he was called Gabriel in it, because I don't think the names were revealed. But it cuts to the spirit of Freddy crying behind the suit. And that's the character I want Gabriel to be. He understands what he's doing. He's not just hurting people for no reason like the others. But he's not as sentient as Cassidy or Charlie. He's still kind of the victim in all of it. But he's a little bit more aware than the others. And also, I think I would want him to be the oldest, other than maybe Cass. Actually, Cassidy's weird because this interpretation of Cassidy is almost like, you know how I mentioned like Cassidy and Charlie never lose themselves? That was kind of misleading because I'm realizing that the Cassidy I'm writing, in a weird way, does lose themselves, but not in the I'm devolving into an animatronic who doesn't understand what's going on. It's more like the lines of reality with Cassidy are getting blurred more and more, and that Cassidy is developing more and more into this weird entity that knows more, speaks more intelligently than they should. Because, like, fucking, if Castermind is right, if FNaF World is about Golden Freddy / Cassidy helping the bite victim, that characterization and the one we saw in the logbook is real funky for a kid, you know? I'm not saying Cassidy's an adult. Cassidy is definitely a child. But the way they're written is not like a child. And I've seen Scott write children before. And Cassidy isn't written like them either. Like, compare Abby to how Cassidy is written. Compare, depending on how much it's debatable how much he wrote Fright, so we're not going to use Fright. But even Gregory, depending on how much Gregory was written, and Gregory is much older than Abby in terms of how he's portrayed, is still not written the way Cassidy is. Right? Yeah, I know, like, the MCI's in the past, but, like, my point is, like, hell, even the novel spirits aren't as strangely, like, to the point and aware as Spooky Eyes is. The only character I can think of who talks that consciously, Elizabeth is another example of a kid who is written like a kid, and not the way Spooky Eyes is written, or Glitchtrapper is. And that's, like, the core characterization Squawkverse is running on, is that version. Because that's, between the logbook and Spooky Eyes and Glitch Bear, we have our core setup for Cassidy's characterization, and it's not like a normal child. Scott probably likes the year 3 because Probably because it's the anniversary of 1983, if you think about it. Like, that's why I've always favored 1993, is it makes it a clean decade of, like, Freddy's history. And that's why 2023 is also satisfying, because it's the, like, I've never liked 2015, because it's such a fucking random year. It only works for the 1985 MCI anniversary, but 2023 also does that. But yeah, so like Cassidy is like written kind of like in kind of that like way more conscious than a kid should be. Like it's almost like Charlie and Cassidy never stopped growing up in their suits, but the MCI kids are trapped as smart as they were and aware as they were. That's how I want to write them, is like I said, Cassie is like they never stopped learning, they never stopped growing up, they never stopped maturing. And Charlie is like that too. But the MCI kids are like I said, Susie's trapped as a little kid who doesn't understand what's going on. Jeremy is still a little kid who's aware he's killed and that someone hurt him, but can't comprehend why someone would do that. Fritz just wants out, and he's willing to, and he's hasty and wants any way out, and Gabriel is patient enough to know that he can't do anything, but he trusts Charlie to do something about it. And that he's just trying to make it better for everyone else on the way out. Some characterization I really want to do is I think I'm gonna do Funtime Freddy Nellic Fog. If you didn't see the why William made baby video, Funtime Freddy Nellic Fog is the theory that Funtime Freddy did successfully kill, or William with Funtime Freddy did successfully kill one kid and store him in Funtime Freddy, and that character ends up being the soul that makes Funtime Freddy unique from the other Funtimes in terms of like the sentient one that leads them, or like the more intact one, if that makes sense. That does not contradict Milton MCI per se. It just means like Funtime Freddy has, or it just means the other Funtimes are the ones mostly mixed with the remnant slurry. But like Funtime Freddy's personality is more pronounced because he has one dedicated kid in him. That's kind of like the idea of like why Funtime Freddy becomes the leader, is that theory. I don't think Squawkverse is going to do every guard as Michael. It might do it a little bit of it. Okay, you can't just say, Ginger Snaps, oh, it was meant to be the last game, there's no meaning behind names and stuff. Or like because like if that was the case, that would imply FNaF 1 is in a vacuum and every game is separate from it, which is not how that works. Like FNaF 1 was made to be the final game, but everything else was made to expand on it afterwards. So I think I don't see how that would invalidate Mike being Mike Schmidt. In fact, it's pretty implied because he writes Mike at the start of the logbook. And FNaF 4 has Phone Guy's calls, and Mike draws Nightmare Fredbear in the logbook, which implies our FNaF 4 player has been through FNaF 1 in some context, and Mike is the only character we know of who's been through FNaF 1 and heard Phone Guy's audio. And once again, Michael writes Mike at the start of the logbook. And at the start of the sister location, you have Mike on hand unit, or the tablet. Oh, when FNaF 1 takes place. Oh, sorry, I saw the... Okay, that's a better argument of, like, it wasn't meant to... But then again, like, if Scott saw Matt Pett say the game is in 1993, he's like, oh, I didn't really think about it. I guess it's in 1993. That's how I think that would work. That Scott like wasn't really thinking about the year, and then when Matt Pett said it was in 1993, he was like, I'll run with that, sure. And then he did the math for 1987 the next time around. Oh. And then, the other reason I mentioned this before, I like 1993 because it's a clean decade after the bite, so it's like a full closure story for Freddy's history, where it's like, it starts there and then it ends there. And then 2023 is like an even cleaner wrap-up after that. I guess it's always possible. Here's the thing about like checks is you can be very flexible with a paycheck when you remember that the numbers are going to change almost every year. Or not almost every year. That's a bad way to express it. Because remember, like there's technically nothing stating that we have to be working for minimum wage. So you could say technically it was in 1988 and the paycheck would line up. It just means he's being paid above standard a little bit. That's what's tricky about the paycheck if you want to use it as proof. Yeah, that's okay. Andrew having no connection to anything is what, or not no connection to anything, anything Bear or Golden Freddy related. Is something that's always bothered me about the Stitch Line discussion. It's like, why? What was the point, even from Scott's like decision making, to give Andrew a gator mask? Like, parallels or not, I'm like, why? Why not just give him a Fredbear mask or something like that? Hello, Julian. Phone Guy does say that animatronics have been there for 20 years, but also consider Fredbear's likely existed before Freddy's did. Is the one thing. Yeah, I do think it just means Fredbear's. Because Phone Guy just says, if I had to sing those same stupid songs for 20 years. Which, honestly, I do wonder if that was the retcon. Because, I mean, think about it. It is established to be 1983 in FNaF 4. So, it technically is in the right time frame to be linked. Oh yeah, I guess it would be a bit of a Scott Con. Yeah, New Kid is the headache story, because it's like, so here's the problem. You can't just say it's Andrew just possessing the suit outright, because Andrew does not hurt people who are not Afton consciously. He literally says, no, I'm only trying to stop Afton in the epilogues. Or like, no, I only hate him. When Jake asks him about the things infected with his agony hurting people. Because Andrew does not consider, oh shit, the things I'm attaching to are hurting other people, not just Afton. Which, if that's the case, and if Kelsey was like a projection of Golden Freddy or / Fredbear, that implies that it's an object haunted with his agony, not him, which is fucking weird. 'Cause how? You know? So either that's a plot hole, and Andrew's lying through his teeth about how he feels about Afton and agony. Or fuck you, somehow his agony got on Fredbear and he's not Fredbear. Because if he was Fredbear, why is Kelsey hurting random people unless that's a separate soul in there? I know there's theories like, oh, Kelsey can be Eleanor. That works a little bit better. But then at that point, it's like, okay, then what's the black hair and why is Andrew not doing anything about it? The entire fucking new kid is so frustrating for like stuff like that, because if it's supposed to be Andrew doing it, it's not character assassination, but it's heavy character contradiction. Because that's like because there's like I said, there's a whole conversation they have about like, no, I'm only trying to hurt the bad guy. Kelsey is Monty W. Afton. I guess it could also be W. Monty Afton. You can also get it does. Like I said, New Kid's frustrating because it's like it's hard to say what it's trying to say for sure. Because if it's trying to say Andrew's original suit is Fredbear, why does he have a gator mask? If it's trying to say that, why is Fredbear fucking with these people? Also, Kelsey is like not at all Andrew's personality. And Andrew is not exactly depicted as someone that strategic to be like, I'm gonna lure in kids to kill them one by one as a popular new blonde kid. Also, why is he blonde? I think they planned some of the epilogues. I think around the time Afton is defeated in the epilogues, that was probably their vision, and some details were just added in as they went. And then they were like, we're doing so many more books. I'm not that far from the mic. Kelsey sounds like Cassidy in the way that Cassie sounds like Cassidy. And those two have no connection as far as we know. So I would not pick name similarities for now. Personally. Also, it's not exactly in character for Cassidy either, really. Especially the Stitch Line Games Cassidy. That one's real weird, because that one's like that's less vengeful than Andrew. Why the fuck is that Cassidy fucking with anyone? I will say I'm really excited about the next mini theory with Cake Bear. I don't know if I just like spoil the idea of it or not, or keep it a mystery. But it was one of those like thinking about a minigame you've seen a billion times in a new light situations. Yeah, I do think if Kelsey is anyone, it's Eleanor, and if you take away that, then you have only the black hair connection to Andrew, and it's like the timeline starts getting real screwy. So by the way, the Cake Bear video is very much a Shadow Freddy video, arguably. You can kind of already... speaking of, this is something I mentioned in the video, but it's something I was thinking about with the whole Cake Bear is Fredbear versus Freddy debate. And I realized it really does not matter as much as you might think. Because Fredbear was at Freddy's. So it being Fredbear actually doesn't change much because, I mean, like, obviously Foxy was not the only person at the MCI location. Same thing with, Gives Life. It's like, obviously, the FNaF 5, obviously Freddy Zero didn't just have the puppet in one room with a bunch of corpses. So the minigames are very much clearly, like, weird versions of events. So there's more than a plausible situation where Cake Bear that Cake Bear could be Fredbear but still at Freddy's, which is weird. That's not very intuitive, I will say. But there's no reason that couldn't be the case. And it even kind of makes sense why Scott would add in the detail that Fredbear's was at Freddy's at all. Because if you think about it, there's no, like, he doesn't get anything about saying Fredbear and Spring Bonnie were at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in FNAF 3. As, like, intended to be worn suits. Because we could have just assumed, if he was like, welcome to Fredbear's Family Diner, that they just took the old costume, like, or he could have just written in that they took the old costumes and took it to later Freddy's. If FNAF was real, which pizzeria I would go to? I'd probably go to the FNAF 2 one. Seeing them trying to move around is cool. I do wonder if RWQ is the DCI stuff or not, but to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of X incident just to manifest as X character theories as much. I like theories where this is something I really like about the Cake Bear video, and its relation to Shadow Freddy is it's not just kid dies, ball of agony manifest as Shadow Freddy. It's like it actually follows like the idea of agony and remnant, where it's like emotion attaching to material and concept, and it also plays in like ghost lore of like things connecting, like I say, like a lot of times in ghost lore there's like a karmic or like rule set to how the ghost manifests and operates. So it's like, I was stabbed, so I stab people now. I was betrayed on my marriage during the ceremony. Now I haunt all marriages. Or stuff like a kid who was playing red light, green light, got hit by a bus that can only follow red light, green light rules. It's shit like that. And what I like about this next video is it does that for Shadow Freddy, where it explains why he has so many weird-ass behaviors and why he works with Afton, without it just being evil agony monster absorbs soul juice. And to be honest, it's metal as shit. Someone in chat did point out what the core of the theory is. I will not say which one. Ginger Snaps, don't make me tap the sign. Nothing says the MCI happened across multiple days. We've talked about, or nothing says it has to be multiple days. It could be, technically. It just is not that strongly implied, even in FNaF 1, which everyone cites for it. Don't make me tap the sign. Yeah, but Foxy is implied in that minigame to be, like, part of his programming to run to the next area, and, like, that explains why he's able to run in FNaF. In general, honestly, if you think about it. Because, like, why? Because the animatronics are allowed to move. But it also doesn't invalidate someone moving being a costume character. What did I just get added for? Okay, no. I'll respond to that later. Oh yeah, Shadow Freddy stand still works with this video, by the way, kind of. It just changes it from... That's the thing I never liked about Shadow Freddy stand was I was kind of forced to use the I am Ball of Agony Evil theory. Ginger Snaps. I'm only saying this because we've talked about this on stream a few times. So that Sai is not like a dismissive, like, oh, you please tour so much. It's like, I have to show this for like the billionth time. Not the billionth, I've done this a few times. No, hold on, spelled it wrong. Let me pull it up. Let me summon it. Five children are now linked to the incident at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where a man dressed as a cartoon mascot lured them into a back room. Incident singular. There is nothing that directly implies it was multiple days. I don't know how Foxy Go 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 works. It's annoying. It is the incident with no plural. And when it says now linked, it just is building off the previous one as a direct continuation. Like, oh, we saw 2 kids get taken away. Now we know there's 5 total missing. I keep in mind, it is worth noting the newspaper clippings are not the most reliable, I will say. That is a defense you can make for them, because there's the whole convicted thing, but then it says in the same goddamn thing that they were charged instead of convicted. Thank you, Haley Halo. Cute doggo. There's nothing to contradict the idea that they were all killed at once, because every other time we see it, it's all at once. In Foxy Go Go Go, even though that's a weird fucking who knows what's going on there. They're all together. In Give Gifts, Give Life, they're all together. The whole point of Follow Me is luring them all back to one place that was familiar to them. Which once again has them all together. The novels, I believe, have them all together. And Frights has them all together, and the movie has them all together on one day. Thoughts on Puppet dying last? When you say Puppet dying last, define last. Are you including Elizabeth in that last? And the DCI in that last? That is a very different thing. Because if you're just saying, like, after the MCI, I mean, I made a video on that possibility, specifically on the MCI, that the idea of, like, one night being... In my opinion, if we're doing the Charlie after the MCI, that's one of the better options. I don't think it's the case, but if it were, that's one way I could see it working. No one's implying Foxy Go 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 is a costume person. I don't... That's not like a debate we're having right now. Yeah, JJ's Adventure. I did watch a lot of the FNaF VHS stuff when it was coming out. It's one of those, I kind of wish there was another big narrative one. Because a lot of them were just trying to be scary, which was kind of disappointing. Because it's like, yeah, doing FNAF horror is great, but like, FNAF's at its best when the story informs the horror and the horror informs the story. Yeah, he sometimes gets stuck on the stairs. Giraffe, sometimes. Don't worry about it. I do not believe the idea of a traditional, or of like a dedicated unwithered location separate from the classics. I think, because like, FNAF 2 gave us an excuse for why they would look different. In that they were retrofitted for the new technology and they're running Endo 02s and not Endo 01s. And keep in mind, the Endos were not called Endo 02 and Endo 01, to our knowledge, until FNAF World. So it's not even like a retcon of like, oh, Scott called it Endo 01 and has to find a reason for it to be Endo 02. It's like, no. If Scott wanted to imply the Endo 02 was before Endo 01, wouldn't he just call that one Endo 01? And so that implies to me Endo 01 is the original design, and then they're swapped out to Endo 02, and their designs change because of that. Because Scott has to model them around a different costume. Or Scott has to fit them around a different endoskeleton, I should say, is more accurate. So I think Scott just had to remodel them around that. That is my hard stance on the unwithered debates. Because I stand by, like, like I said, like the FNaF 1 designs are their true designs, and that there is just a variant of them, where they were redesigned in the 1987, and then they looked at those redesigns and were like, these are fugly as fuck, man, and then they make the toys in response. Same technology, just different costumes, basically. You think Bond X Flam Freddy's canon? Maybe. I don't know. Graphic novels are my preferred format for the stuff. I don't like a lot of the big heavy novel reading stuff as much. I honestly would prefer, I mean, the FNaF books aren't that big, for context. I just don't like the walls and walls of text as much as I just fucking having them draw it, you know? Like, I know the graphic novels take a little longer, or like just take longer in general, but I always prefer, if I'm revisiting a story, to use the graphic novel. I have to read the fucking original books because of theorizing, but if I want to ever, like, experience a story, I want to do it with the graphic novels instead, typically. Like, I'm a comic book fan. Like, on my channel, it says, like, comic book artist who is now also a FNaF theorist. Look, I am hyped about new Spider-Man comics, the Ultimate Run. They rebooted the Ultimate Universe, so it's a new universe where Peter never got his powers as a teenager, but is being given a chance to get them now as an adult, where he's already married Mary Jane and had 2 kids. So he's becoming Spider-Man for the first time as an adult. It's a really cool new comic line. And issue 1 is great of it, and I'm waiting for more. So, like, if I can avoid reading the original novels, I typically do. But if it's for theorizing, I have to read the original ones, because that's the people. Because if you try to use the graphic novels, people will be like, "What the fuck, man?" I know the Follow Me sprites match the Wizards, but I have a feeling that was Scott just on autopilot, to be completely honest. I have a feeling Scott did that a lot, and that's why a lot of the weird sprite art happens. Do I draw anime girls? I draw Lucy. If that's what you mean. But I draw Neon Dynamo. Neon Dynamo has like a mixture of Golden Age comic and anime. Here, let me find our picture of Rain. And she's in Grenadier. Where's the Grenadier? Hold on. I will take any chance to talk about Neon Dynamo I can get. So God, where's just like a good render of Rain? And on, it's fan favorite character Yinadu Yak Dizzle. No one knows who Yinadu Yak Dizzle is. Okay, I'm sure I'll have a render over. Neon Dynamo is my like original webcomic. I want to say it's my main one, but I guess my main one's technically Freddy and Friends now, because that's the one I work on much more often. And it's neon, as in the element, slash neon lights. And then Dynamo, as in the power. It's the power of neon. It's a sci-fi webcomic. Sci-fi, but a lot of influence of like D&D style world building, but not D&D itself. My shorthand explanation of Neon Dynamo is what was it? I know like 3 out of the 4 words, but I was trying to remember what the 5th like. But it was I think it was like My Hero Academia, D&D, Star Trek. Was the explanation I made for it. Even though My Hero is actually not that great of an explanation, because it really only applies to the main character. I think I also had the word isekai somewhere in there. But that only applies to the main character. I mean, that's most isekai anyway, but it's not even like oh, I'm transported to another world. It's like, it's transported into another world in a similar way that Aang technically can be argued as isekai for Avatar Last Airbender. The main character is just off-world. That's it. Like, he's not on Earth. That's the way it's technically isekai. One of the theories I saw recently that's a real cool take on why Nightmare in UCN says the shadow fears me is that he's talking about RWQ being afraid of Shadow Freddy, which would actually kind of be logical for their storyline. Because, like, RWQ is the MCI support one, where, if you think, in almost all contexts, because it's trying to attack Night Guards, which is what the MCI kids want to do. It's tried to help the kids in Happiest Day, and it's all support moves in FNaF World. And then it's protecting Remnant in FNaF AR. Every context RWQ appears in, it's protecting the kids and souls and stuff. So it being afraid of Shadow Freddy, who leads others to their doom and follows Afton around, would make some level of sense. And it's also a shadow that could be afraid of something else. Oh yeah, the fact that we're getting a game related to Into the Pit, one of the weirdest things that's been revealed, since it was called interactive, since there was another thing on that on that sheet that says interactive novel, I have a feeling we're going to get a series of like light novel, not light, a series of like brain, what the hell? Visual novel. That's what it's not for. Why could I not get a visual? Like something like visual novel, or something like a choose-your-own-adventure version of Fright stuff. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if Scott made... maybe not Scott himself, but Scott, like, oversaw, like, most FNAF stuff. A streamlined version of Frights that was, like, dedicated for the sole purpose of being the definitive game line version of it. And so we didn't have to fucking use the novels and, like, pick apart wording and all that. Because fucking, you know, Mr. Hippomagnet, who knows how many little errors there are. Fucking, there's an entire wrong version of the FNAF movie novelization that exists, for crying out loud. So him making, like, a definitive version that's, like, lore stories only, the ones people actually like, and maybe even adapting them to be more gameline would be real cool. Telltale Freddy. Freddy will remember that. Because I don't mind a good chunk of the stories in Frights. It's just, like, 1 out of 5 that are really boring and don't add anything. Maybe more. My go-to one that sucks is, and you can feel this when you're watching the doco summary of this story, because that was one of the things I'll do when I'm, like, kind of re-experiencing a novel, because I try to experience it a few different ways for a few different thoughts of it. Was Daco's summary of Kids at Play. He's like, this one was hard to get through, guys. It's like, Jesus Christ, when Daco is, like, barely able to read your FNAF story, you know it can't be a good one. Because it's just about a kid with a road rage who fucking dies. He gets, like, fucking taken over at night and turned to a Kids at Play sign. That's the fucking story. That is a very hot take, saying Mike is not the one we play as in FNAF 3. In my opinion, because I'm yet to see a theory that eclipses the evidence for Mike. Because, especially since, in my opinion, it's softly implied to not be Henry. Because the Vengeful Spirit says, no matter how many times they burn us, but starts that conversation by saying, he tried to release you, he tried to release us. I will keep you here, I will hold you here, no matter how many times they burn us. Which means they is not, like, an ambiguous singular here. It is not, I don't know who did this. So I'm using they, like, oh, the mailman came by, they dropped this off. Or there's one mail delivery person. But, so it's like, Vengeful Spirit knows who Henry is, and then says, no matter how many times they burn us. And there's only 2 fires we know of in FNAF at this point. So, Vengeful Spirit saying, they burn us implies 2 separate people burning them. Which implies someone other than Henry did it. And then you have the fact that Mike interacts with Cassidy, and a lot of the logbook imagery is FNAF 3 stuff, so if you believe multi-MCI Ultra-S, that's heavy support for that. And then you have the fact that the FNAF 3 guard has encountered a lot of previous FNAF stuff, and also has association with William and Spring Bonnie. Oh yeah, and also my dreaming of FNaF 4 and potentially and that potentially being Plush Trap. It makes me wonder what the hell is in the real hallway in FNaF 4. Cause I've thought about making a FNaF fan game. I just don't really have the technical know-how to make that possible. Like, making games is not my skill set. Or I specifically I mean programming games is not my skill set. But like, regardless of what Plush Trap is, there's the weird ass question mark that is in FNaF 4 we see Plush Trap's hallway. Or not FNaF 4, sister location we see FNaF Plush Trap's hallway. And I don't. Yeah, this town does need better road workers. Is Fritz phone guy? Maybe. Since your reaction of Scott makes a Giraffe Town FNaF game, I don't even know what that would begin to be. Is the thing. Like, I couldn't tell you the first step. Of like how that would work. Would it be animatronics of Giraffe and Big Dog and Tunnels the Time Traveling Clown? Nightmare BB could be there in such a location, that is true. But then it's like, what are the other... Because there's 4 dots in there, so it's like, what are those? Pizzeria dashing, you have to get to heaven with the soul birds. I'm very torn on, like, what the hell... Nightmare BB is canon because he's technically in the base game, and Scott stated that all base game content is canon for FNaF 4. He wasn't in the base game upon initial release, but after the Halloween edition, he's actually in the base game, not just the Halloween version. And he actually has some slightly different properties. So Nightmare BB is actually canon, physically. Or not physical, or at least he's canon as he exists in some context. But in the sister location map, let me see if I can pull this up. Where's yeah, here it is. So this is a traced over map I made that copies every square and like location and all that, including like brightness of squares. So every gray square represents where an animatronic is normally stationed. So you have Funtime Freddy, you have Ballora, you have Foxy, you have Baby, then you have Nightmare Bonnie, Chica, or Nightmare Foxy. You have the nightmares. Point is, it's kind of unclear which one's which, but you have the 4 dots there. But then you have this shit. What's here? And the weirdest part is connected to Ballora Gallery. I do wonder if these are mini arenas. And that they leave this area to go to Ballora Gallery. Or something like that. That's the only thing I can think of other than like Plush Trap, Nightmare BV, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm just waiting for something new in chat if you said. We don't know what the bitty webs are. You guys can't get out. Sorry, maybe. And I don't know what these 3 other dots would be. Is the thing that bugs me about the map, and that's a tricky element to discuss. I guess it could also be because there's no dot for the spring lock suit, so spring lock suit, plush trap, nightmare BB, Yendo, Lolbit. That's the best I can fucking think of. I don't know why the bitty webs are advanced. I don't know why the bitty webs exist, period. They are such a weird element. I want to talk about the FNaF TCG a little bit. We haven't talked about that this stream much. So boy, are there plenty of cards to talk about now. Johnson, I will refuse to acknowledge that theory. Oh, who could have... Electrobab. There is Electrobab. I don't know what's going on with them, honestly. Okay, so let me pull... let me pull up like a test lobby and untap. So I can kind of show this off a little bit. That's right, you need the premium membership to get into games right away. So health, let me pull up the game board I made to kind of explain this a little bit, because it looks complicated. It's really not that much in practice. So health is you have 6 health each, or not 6 health each. There are 6 counters, I should say, for health. At the game, it just starts at 0, and then every point of damage you take, it goes towards the opponent's side. So let's say they take 3 damage, it would go here. And then, let's say they dealt 6, let's say they dealt 4 damage, then you would count 1, 2, 3, 4, go to the opponent's side, like a pendulum. It's like Inscription, if you ever played Inscription. And if it gets all the way to 6 on one player's side, that player loses. So your goal is to get your opponent to 6, pretty much. I also added a power gauge on the example map. And of course it can be at 0. It's worth noting. It does not... Yeah, it's Inscription's health system. I will not stop you from making art for the cards. But for the sake of creating the game, I'm just going to be using official art or art I make myself. Like, sometimes I get a little advanced with it. So, like, there was no good circus render for FNaF World, so I just had to make this out of assets that did exist, and I just drew my own sprites for the background. Feelings about Gumdrop Angel Michael Afton parallels. That's a sentence. So yeah, sometimes I kind of have to take some creative liberties for cards. Oh, by the way, I didn't get to show off the reworked Michael Afton, or no, not Michael, William Afton. He now works a lot more. Oh yeah, Anim Dude is going to be a card. I can't figure out what the fuck he does. Like, I've gone through so many ideas for, like, what he does, and they're all either too broken or too underwhelming. There's a few cards I haven't gotten to show off on YouTube yet. Like Adventure Spring Bonnie. This is one of my favorite cards visually, by the way. Doing the glitched background. Just really looked nice. Because I wanted each of them to have a distinct background. So, like, the main four just have the normal environments, and then Adventure Fredbear has a glitchy version of the environment. And I wanted to do Glitch World for Spring Bonnie, but there's no Glitch World background for the overworld. It's just whatever the tiles are. So I had to take the normal one, then turn it purple, and then make it glitchy manually. Likewise, there's no default grass texture for Circus World, so I just had to make art for that. Because I had already gone through every other background. I do not like discarding cards in mechanics. Or in games. One of the core rules I'm running with for this game is it's a famous, I'm trying to remember who did it, but it's a famous TED Talk about Magic the Gathering and trading card game design. And with the quote that I want to follow is, people want to play their cards. It's not fun when you're like, I have a Nightmare Freddy, I can do something cool, I get to make that gameplay, like, and all that. And then they discard the card and you're just fucked over. What the fuck, playing? Was that on mic? Maybe I'll make Anim Dude like Bonnie on steroids. Because the Bonnie archetype is the kind of a combat archetype, for lack of a better term. It's all about fighting other cards. So maybe I'll give Anim Dude like a thing of, like, he has like 3 JP, and every time he attacks, he has to attack every card your opponent has, if possible. Yeah, oh, I guess we can pull this up so I can kind of do this if I want to. No, that was a plane. That growling sound was a plane passing by. I guess it was just really low. Bonnie was Scott's favorite, so that would fit. It reminds me, there's a card. Oops. That this would be a lot like. Let me hold on. Searching stuff online. This is actually one of my favorite Magic cards, because it's like, its art is great and it's a really fun concept of an idea. That's repetitive word, whatever. Here we go. Breaker of Armies. It's a colorless Eldrazi, 8 cost. All creatures able to block Breaker of Armies do so. And it's a 10/8. This means, like, you're just swinging with the world's, like, most brutal beat stick kind of concept. It's real silly. So I could see it as Anim Dude is like that, where he's like a 4, where he's like a JP4, but he has to fight every card your opponent controls. Draft card would be a funny meme card. By the way, there's a card, I haven't made it yet, because there's not a lot of Fredbear support right now, so it's kind of weird to make it, but the card is called Universe End, and its effect is, if you have a card with Fredbear in its name in play, you make a duplicate of it with all the same effects and stats, and then at the end of the turn, you send both cards to the salvage. Uh, Giraffe MCI card. That would be funny. Yeah, Universe End is just like this emergency button. I need more Fredbear power. And so you just get to clone a Fredbear. But they die at the end of the turn if you don't get to use them. Yeah, we already talked about Into the Pit being a thing that we're going to have to think about or consider. I'm trying to think, are there any new cards that are like worth talking about? I will say, the Nightmare characters, by far the most brutal cards to plan. And figure out how I was going to get them to work. I went through so many versions of what their effects would be. Cassidy, I just haven't made yet. I'm a little uncertain what their effect would exactly be. That would be game breaking. Because that's my biggest concern is that Cassidy would be too strong if I made them pure old ready effect. What? Hold the fuck on. Summon YouTube. What? What the fuck are you talking about? All I can find is this jackass claiming there's an official trailer leak, and I can't find the official trailer. Sorry, let me do something. Okay. That you can't just say there's a trailer leak and then there's nothing. Where is the trailer? This is not... Okay, someone who has the Discord... What the fuck? Why? I can't open this on stream. Hold on. Never open links you're sent on stream. It says the video is unavailable. What the hell are you talking about? Stream is black. Well, whatever it was. Internet Archive? What the fuck? This is ridiculous. What happens if I... Here, let me... What happens if I do this? Is this real? Hey! The power of downloading links! Do we watch this? Joe Biden is the purple guy. Piracy is no party. Can we get a link to Scott saying it was okay? I do not just take what people say so. Where are we citing Scott said it was okay? Do not just said Scott said it was okay. Please, this is actually an important thing. Okay, I'll look up Anim Dude on my phone. Anim Dude. Okay, yeah. Pulling this up. No, okay, yep, this is his official thing. No need to keep it hush-hush. It's okay. Yes, I'll try to keep it secret for a bit longer. That's how it's fine. The game has been in development for a really long time, actually. I'm proud of the final project. It will be the 10th anniversary game. Okay. We are allowed to watch this. Scott, we have the okay from Scott Cawthon. If you do not want spoilers, fucking click off now. Live reaction time. Actually, let me record this. Say hi, chat. This will go on YouTube. We are all good to go to watch this goddamn trailer. Jeff's Pizza. Jeff's Pizza? Ooh. Sprite art style. This is very super FNaF. Is this Ozzy? Or Oswald? Holy shit, man. Well, that didn't happen. Did that? What the fuck, man? That's different. That's not... I do wonder if this is going to be the canon version of Into the Pit. I'm sorry, but have you seen RPG Maker? This does not look like RPG Maker. This is sprite art. I'll give you that. So we're gonna be hiding in Golden Freddy? Yeah, this was not in Into the Pit the story. So if this is canon game line, then that definitely means we're not doing Stitch Line's version. So either this is a new continuity, or this is the canon version of Frights. I don't know. I don't have Ultra Kill. That's great. Dude, look at that. Dude. Yeah, arts. I can see the comparison to RPG Maker, but no, this is way better than RPG. Like, look at fucking that, man. Dude, this is like... If you've ever watched the Zelda CDI cutscenes where they get randomly really fluid, It looks like that, but good. Dude, I'm hyped for this one. This is so super FNaF. And I love Super FNaF. It's one of my favorite fan games. Oswald was one of my preferred protagonists, so him being canon, I would not mind at all. This could be Fright's Fiction. Oh, what if this is the indie game? Yeah, no, I don't think Hiding in Golden Freddy was part of the OG story. So I think this is definitely something very different. Yeah, so someone put this in chat, but I actually do want to pull this up. If you've never seen Super FNaF, this is Super FNaF. This is a low res image of it, but it reminds me so much of it, and I absolutely do not mind because I love Super FNaF. Oh, is it made by the Super FNaF people? Yeah, he definitely didn't hide like that because he just kind of stumbled. So, like, I fucking have the graphic novel like right here, and the graphic novel is actually one of the pretty well adapting ones, if I remember right. Right? Isn't it one of the ones that's pretty good about it? Yeah, let me shut up, Untap. This is a great looking one, man. Like, okay, I can't find the graphic novel right now, but the graphic novel is one of the better ones, and it's just really cool, man. This is kind of Fazverse Part 2 in a weird way. This is a great 10th anniversary game, though, because it's all about Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. Wait. Yeah, no, Oswald has brown hair. I was wondering if we were going to imply in this, with him having black hair, that he was the Golden Freddy and New Kid, but that might be reaching it. Oh, God! So, my whole... Holy shit, man. Look at this render! This is an official FNaF render now. God, that's so the FNaF. Hold on, the FNaF 2 and 4 video script talks a lot about lighting and presentation and weighting of the characters. This is literally everything that video wanted FNaF to be. Huh? What the fuck? Video player. God, there's even blur effects. There's the two different universe mechanic. Well, there's a weight to that. He has hinges. There's shake. Ugh. Okay, there's another thing this really reminds me of. One of my favorite point and clicks ever. If you ever watch the Markiplier playthrough of it, it's fucking legendary. Shut up, ads. Get away from me. I finally got an ad blocker for my...
Hello. Hello, sir. You look sick. Maybe I'll dab your forehead.
This reminds me so much of Deep Sleep, and that's so cool. Mega Cat Studios. Let me look them up. Mega Cat Studios. Mega Cat Studios. Who the hell are these guys? Wrestling Quest. The Meeting. What are these games? I've never heard of some of these. Oh, these look cool. Wow, that's some great NES replication. Oh, that's an actual NES game they've made in the modern day. That's cool. Who made Super FNaF? Super FNaF? No, I don't want to. I mean, okay. We do not know if it has any involvement with Super FNaF because that just is very similar. Yeah, Super FNaF was developed by. Let me pull this up. I was just looking at their page. God, I hate using fandom, but this is like the only webpage I can find them on. Lily Dev made Super FNaF. I don't know if it's her stuff or not, but Super FNAF's one of my favorite FNAF fan games. So, maybe I'll make a card for Into the Pit. That's probably the image I'm going to use for Spring Bonnie if I do Into the Pit Spring Bonnie. We do not know what its deal is. We know it's official, firstly. Scott just said, like, it's okay. And we know it's been in development for a while, apparently, and it's related to Into the Pit, but not directly. It's like a remix of it. I'm actually really hyped about the possibility of Oswald being game line, but it being a release basis. Like, you know, like if we got something like a streamlined version of the Frights timeline, just with the core beats, I would not mind that at all. My stitch line problems mostly come from the entire mess of it, and Andrew. So just if Oswald became game line canon confirmed, I would not mind that. Yeah, exactly. If you haven't played or seen Super FNAF, totally do it. It's fucking one of the best fan games. Wow, that was 4 months ago. Shit, man. I'm hyped for it. Like, that's the most hyped I've been for a FNAF game since Help Wanted 2, which, I mean, most recent FNAF game. Probably since... I'm trying to remember what FNAF game I was the most hyped for. No one was hyped for FNAF 6 because it appeared out of nowhere. Fazbear Entertainment card? I'll have to make a Fazbear Entertainment card. I just have to figure... It would have to be like something very generic. I've covered a lot of the effects I think a Fazbear Entertainment card would do. Like, this card I made called Rare Chip Find Characters. Which is to reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, add 1 non-customization card to your hand, put the rest on the bottom in any order. I don't know what Fazbear Entertainment would do. It would be cool to do Super FNAF on a stream. UCN was also pretty damn hype. Sister Location was also hype. FNaF 2 was pretty hype, I guess. FNaF 3, I think, was the one I was in the biggest lead up for. Rare chip, it's FNaF World. It's one of the chips you get. FNaF World was also pretty big hype-wise. That's true. FNaF World might have been my biggest hyped game. I think Into the Pit surpassed it, though. I've never seen a trailer that instantly blew me away that way. Cause just like, look at this. God. It is weird that there's a glitch with it saying unhide instead of hide. Oh, dude, man. I'm hyped for that one. Okay, I just finished recording that, by the way, so that's the clip that's going to go up on YouTube, probably. FNaF 1? Hold on, let me look back at it another time. Yeah, let's actually. I do need to do. Let's do a more detailed, like, frame by frame kind of look. That is normal Bonnie. But there's rosy cheeks on that one, but then it's normal Freddy, Paper Plate Pals, FNaF 2. This seems to be kind of a composite place. Is that Springtrap? Look at the ear, it's Springtrap. It's normal Freddy again. Dude. But I wish this video player could do frame by frame a little bit better. That's so good. That's okay. Hold on. Then we have Baby here. That's a funky call out. So yeah, this is. I think this confirms that. So we're doing the 2 universe thing, right? Yeah, I think this is a composite pizzeria. So this is like every Freddy's in one. Knocked over. Then we got the posters all over the wall. We have Balloon Boy there. Let me make sure. This would actually be easier to view in let me see if the link works now. Okay, oh no. That's annoying. Well, you still have to use the video player. There is knocked over chairs stuff. Where's the... And then, once again, we have like a toy Bonnie back there. That is way lighter blue than normal Bonnie, which is the weird thing. And we saw he had cheeks. Here, that's definitely like rosy cheeks, which is funky. Ticket Eater. But that's straight up Springtrap. Like, you can see it a little bit better here that he has the cut off ear, and then he has like bits sticking out of him. What's in the foreground? God, it doesn't even show me things there. That's annoying. I wanted to get a freeze frame on the jump scare. You know how I said the weight of the characters? That's such a good animation. My guess is that's unfinished. Exactly. The coaster, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely Toy Bonnie and Springtrap. So we really are in a composite Freddy's after FNaF 3. We don't see anything from FNaF 6, so we're not that far into the future, potentially. What am I... Oh, yeah, Ball and Freddy, people pointed out. Basketball Freddy. Knocked over chairs. Oswald kind of looks like a if you've ever played the game Kindergarten. If you ever played one of the Kindergarten games, he kind of looks like a more detailed version of one of those characters. Handprints, yeah. And there's... This really is like a fusion pizzeria. It's real cool. Yeah, are these bloods? It's interesting that Golden Freddy was dragged here. Thoughts on effects on Stitch Line? This is a weird one because this could work with Fright's Fiction easily, especially if this is the indie game, for example. Like, let's say this is the first indie game that was made for Help Wanted. It could be that. It could be Stitched Line, but like a remixed version, or like an updated or a definitive version. Because this is just straight up not Stitched Line, this part right here. This is way more gamified than actual Stitched Line was. I do wonder if this is the indie game, the first one. And then we're going to get 2 more games, potentially, that round off the other indie games in the FNaF universe. It's also an event. Oh yeah, we do crawl through event. That doesn't happen in the story. Yeah, this is our first time seeing a Freddy's arcade. We only really saw arcade machines in the security breach in FNaF 3. Look, we always knew there was arcade stuff. We just never got to see it in game. I would love for there to be a game version of the best FNaF stories. We don't know what happened to Into Madness. It could just be a creepy game for the 10th anniversary. It's possible. I really hope there is an official statement on its canonicity. I love how it just says follow the creature. Like, oh, I didn't even notice the faded. So this is the real world where the Freddy gang has been scrubbed away from the imagery. And then there's the handprints on the ball pit, and then... yeah, we have baby over here. What's... what's behind him? Oh, it does say hide normally. It just says unhide once you enter the animation. Multiple endings, huh? I think this is probably a FNaF World situation where it's going to have, like... or maybe not a FNaF World. That's not... oof, brain rot. I saw someone talk about FNaF World. I think it's going to be like a lot of Stitch Line stuff. We're going to have no fucking clue, and people are going to argue it is and isn't. This is right up my alley, though. Totally right up my alley. Yeah, 10 years of FNaF, man. Bonnie's looking really good at him. He just looks like he's always looking down. I don't know if he's like looking specific. That like might just be some loose visual. Yeah. The flip side, I think the flip side is just like the distance between, like, okay, let's say every kid is in their own weird minigame world, and like FNaF World is the bite victims, the MCI kids are the happiest day minigames. The flip side is just like the tunnels between them or around them, I think is how I would phrase them. God, the blur. So there's so many subtle little things that are also happening in this trailer. I will probably make a video on it or stream, I don't know. Springtrap is getting buff. Jeff's Pizza is like the idea that this is like a closed down Freddy's that has been reopened, and then there's a portal to the alternate weird meta space where it is still open, is kind of the idea. And the portal's in a ball pit for some fucking reason. That's like the original Into the Pits bit. Yeah, it's unclear if there are still 6 MCI kids or not in this. I wonder if that's if the sting is part of the jump scare sound or if that's trailer noise. Just listen to that. That sound, the horror thing, the shing, and then like the scare. He does have flesh, which is real cool and creepy. Where someone had a description for the game. Ooh, this is. Where did this image come from? What the fuck? Survive 5 nights of terrors in this chilling adventure game. Travel through time, solve puzzles, gather clues, outrun the threat chasing you in both universes. Move swiftly and stay hidden, and you may just survive. But this time, it's not just your own life on the line. Oswald's father and 5 children from the past could all meet their end if you don't save them. So yeah, this might just be non-canon, or this might just be a self-contained story. I don't know where these images and things are coming from. Oh, okay, so there's a web page. There's like an archived web page for it. That's where this comes from. Oh boy. Gotta love this. Fall into the pit and immerse yourself in a new chapter in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. Gotta love how no one can give the same fucking wording to what the Five Nights at Freddy's universe means. Town wasn't so boring. All it changes when we follow it. All two designs cost. Release it to Steam. Website? What? Is this not the website? 4 not found. Okay. Do these? Okay. Well, not getting anything there. The Five Nights at Freddy's universe. The main one in the games? Who knows what the universe means again? We're fucking trapped in this world again, where it's who knows what. Oswald's Cassie theories are already happening. What the fuck? The novel. It's the FNaF universe, guys. The one. It's also weird that it is a new chapter because this book has been out for like 4 years now. Actually, no, it's 5 years. It was the end of 2019. Or, no, yeah, 4 years about accurate because it was the end of 2019. Where to start? Yeah. So I do think that just means it's official. It's not like it's not Fazversy where it's like completely unrelated. A very new old chapter. And missing I want to look at. I feel like I've looked at every pixel of this by now. What about that fern? This is not a fern, this is a plant. Oh, wait, hold on. It's cropped barely, but you can actually see there's an audio meter here. So the UI is cropped out in this. I would like if this was either a Fright Fiction case where this is an in-universe game, or if this was, like I said, the definitive Stitched Line version. Like, we're not doing it like, oh, some books are, some books aren't. That is Baby. That's the other weird thing, is Baby's here. I don't know why they can't just use the FNaF franchise. That could be. I think this is just a noise meter where the faster you move, the more noise you make. Is there any other times we can see the UI pop in? Oh, here it is. Here's it uncropped. Oswald. Ozzy, you doing okay? I'm guessing that's an early animation. Because what's he doing here? Springtrap is buff because he's been working out, man. He's yoked. He's ready. Into the Pit takes place in Freddy's 187 or 187B. God, it would be funny if I made like a Spider-Verse parody that was just like, I am from Freddy's 1987. Yeah, it is kind of weird. He's the stand user, but where's the user? He's the stand, but where's the user? I think it was just cool. I don't have anything else to say on this. Any other things to note about this? It might just be like their current hide animation. Maybe they'll make a new one. Or they're just going to make it look kind of weird. Because perspective-wise, this is real funky. Because he's climbing like under the leg. And he just kind of slurps into Golden Freddy. We are all Freddy Fazbear. Yeah, he is animated really well. Every time we get into Golden Freddy, he'll play a soundbite that says, "Hi, I'm Andrew. Hi, it's me, Andrew. You gotta select a story mode." Coolio Doolio. I think that's a good endpoint. I think I might end the stream here too. I think this has been a very productive stream. Oh, what was behind the hide unhide? Let's look at that before we close it out. That's the last detail to like really look at. Can't really. I think it's those look like ears, so I think this is just a poster or like Bonnie or something. Maybe Foxy. I don't think so. Anyway, but